Welcome, cave dwellers. You are now entering the Geek Cave.
Let me just kind of give you my initial reactions to the photo, and it's going to be pretty much how I'm going to react to anything I see out of DC from now on when it comes to them releasing like these badass iconic imagery of, like, you know, Superman, or like when I first released that photo of Batman standing near the Batmobile, I was like, oh man, that's freaking awesome, right? But then the movie came and it was super underwhelming. Also, we got some badass iconic images coming out from Suicide Squad, and we actually went to go see the movie. It was total shit. So so anything that's going to come out of DC, I'm going to be very pessimistic, and that sucks that I have to say that. It sucks that I can't be optimistic anymore. Like, I used to be optimistic about things that were coming out of DC, but now I'm always looking at things like through a pessimistic eye. Like, I can't let my hopes get too high, because my hopes were high for the first 3 movies, and I felt like I went to the theater and I got slapped in the face 3 times. But anyway, yes, the image is cool. Upon first seeing it, I was like, okay, you got Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman standing there together. I was like, that is awesome. My first thoughts were, Superman's not there. Of course he's not there, because he's dead, right? But let's take a look at the image and kind of break down like each character and what they look like here. So starting off with Batman, and guys, the internet went crazy. There were a ton of jokes, and a lot of people are making jokes about this the DC stuff, and they like to pick apart these types of images. And like, there's lots of artists out there that create their own fan edits, or they'll tweak little things here and there. I know Boss Logic, if you guys know who Boss Logic is, he kind of made Cyborg a little bigger. A lot of people were complaining, hey, it looks like Cyborg looks pretty short, right? But he's standing in the middle. And then you got some other people saying, oh, it's just perspective, he's standing behind everybody, right? You have people arguing, you know, for and against Cyborg. I saw someone leave a comment recently, like, you know, no one ever does this to any Marvel movies. You know, they never take, this is why the DC movies are failing, because people always nitpick and they change things and they always try and complain when something's released. But that's a lie. You guys remember when we first saw Apocalypse? You guys remember when we first saw Apocalypse? Guess what? Tons of people on IG, tons of artists, tons of people who make these fan edits were tweaking Apocalypse, and that's Fox, right? It's not DC. But I will agree that, you know, DC has it hard when it comes to, you know why? You know why everyone picks on DC? You know why it's so easy to pick on DC? It's because they take themselves so seriously. That is why it's so fun to pick on DC. And it's not as fun to pick on Marvel, because Marvel doesn't take themselves that seriously. But when Zack Snyder was coming out with this DCEU, right? He's like, oh, these movies are going to be art, right? It's just art on screen, and these movies are too smart for the average person. These movies, you know, there's all these deeper meanings behind everything. You have the Jesus imagery of Superman. You have all these deep meanings that will go over, you know, the average viewer's head, and our movies are so deep, right? Well, guess what? If you try to do that, then if you try to take yourself too seriously, then people are going to bash you if the movies don't live up to that standard or are pretty crap. But that's why I think DC gets a lot of flack here. But let's go through the characters, all right? So let's start with Batman. So in the suit is obviously different in this one. It's not as leathery. It's not the same material. It's more sectioned off, kind of similar to the Arkham games. He's got the goggles, which I think they're flipped up on top of his eyes. So Batman looks cool, guys. Batman looks cool. Although I did see a couple of fan edits where they gave Batman the white eyes, and you know, they gave him those slanty white eyes, and they kind of tweaked out the blue and put the yellow and black logo. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was a freaking awesome edit. I think it was by Dave Francisco Art on Instagram. But yeah, I mean, people will always tweak things. Like, if they would have gave us that Batman, if he would have looked like that, and I think I'll throw an image on screen when I edit this. of what that image looked like. But it's possible, guys. I mean, the white eyes were possible with Deadpool, right? So they're definitely possible with Batman. And I don't know about you guys, but I think Affleck looks kind of weird. I love his cowl. I love his cowl. I love his cowl more when he's not in it. Have you guys seen the new Batfleck cowl when it's by itself and it doesn't have a person in it? It's not filled in. It looks creepy as hell, dude. That cowl looks creepy. If you were to see that in like the dark, you'd be like, oh shit, that is freaking scary. But then when he puts his face in it, his eyes look a little beady, right? I think that the suit itself would have benefited from the white eyes. All right, let's move on to Wonder Woman. A lot of people were joking and ragging on this picture of Wonder Woman because they said that she almost looks plastic. She almost looks CGI'd. They're saying like her face is different angularly in terms of it just looks wider, not as angular. But then that could always, reasons for this is that she was shot at a different angle. That could be a reason for it. Maybe she was getting pregnant at the time, so her face filled out a little bit more. There are so many reasons why this looks different, but I think it's just the way it was shot. I think it was just the angle. But in terms of what she's wearing, I think that's Wonder Woman, guys. It looks like Wonder Woman. She's got the blue and red. She's got the tiara. She's got her shield and her sword. So besides the fact that her face kind of looks a little plasticky, and it looks like it's made of plastic, and yeah, she's all right. Now let's go to Cyborg. So if you take a look at Cyborg here, ooh, he's all right to me. A lot of people were making huge jokes about his crotch, right? His crotch looks like Megatron, or it looks like Megatron's face. If you guys won't ever be able to unsee that. Look at Cyborg's crotch right now, and now just think of Megatron. That was memed everywhere on Instagram. But a lot of people saying like his insides, all that stuff right here looks like tinfoil. They're making fun of like the blue dot on his head, and I think Cyborg looks all right. I think we need a hand cannon, a hand blaster on him eventually. And going back to the people who said he needs to be a little bit taller, if this is not pure a perspective thing where he's standing behind people, and if they were at even ground here, I think he does need to be a little bit taller because he's a freaking cyborg, half man, half machine. All right, let's go ahead and go on to Flash here. Flash looks like Flash. Flash looks like every version of Flash that we've seen so far in the DCEU. He's got the cut up, pieced out suit. He's got a goofy looking face. That's what everyone's been saying. His face looks like he just has a normal face to me. He just looks like Flash. So there's not really anything else to say about that. And then Arthur Curry. Aquaman looks like Aquaman. Now, I have a question to pose to you guys here. Now, I know in The Dark Knight Rises that a lot of people were they were kind of skeptical about the whole thing about Batman fighting during the day, right? It's gonna look weird because Batman is known, he's the Dark Knight. Okay, he lurks in the shadows, and it looked weird when he was fighting Bane, at night. But does the same go for Aquaman? Is Aquaman gonna look super awkward fighting out of water? I know a lot of you guys, okay, I realize in the comics he's a land dweller and he's half land, half sea, okay, but in terms of what he's wearing, okay, which is the royal garb of freaking Atlantis, and he's got his big trident with him, is it going to look weird if he's fighting like side by side with Batman or Flash? Or you guys tell me, would you guys want to see the majority of scenes with Aquaman in the water, or would you guys want to see the majority of him outside of the water in like hand-to-hand combat with the League? That's the only thing about Aquaman. He kind of looks out of place here just because the whole huge trident thing, but I think his outfit is cool. I think his outfit is pretty cool, except for the colors here. The colors still look very muted in everybody. And going back to those Instagram artists that like tweak stuff, they brighten the colors in some of them. They gave Wonder Woman, They made her top redder, her bottom bluer. They made Flash more red, and they made Aquaman more like this orange slash goldish color, and it looks so much better. But this universe was made in vain of Zack Snyder's vision and toned down color scheme. So this is what we're gonna get. But overall, guys, like I said in the beginning, I think that yes, this is super awesome. We got to see an image of, the group together without Superman. But I'm not going to get my hopes up, and I'm not going to be swayed by badass imagery anymore. We need more than that. We need a great story. We need great character development. We need epic scenes of the rapport between the League. We need story. We need a great story to be told, and because we've gotten this before. We've gotten badass iconic imagery before with the Batman v Superman movie, and look how that turned out. So I'm gonna I'm gonna have my reservations and go into the movie. I'm gonna wipe out everything. I'm gonna watch the movie with a clean slate, and I'm gonna say, DC, you failed me 3 times. Let's go into this movie and just convince me, pull me back in. All right, pull me back into your universe. Hadouken!